Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're good. It is currently New Year's Eve. It is the 31st here in California, and what better way to start the day, the morning, than with a book review, because I just read this book a couple days ago and I have so many feelings. Good feelings, confused feelings. Let's just talk about them. And that is Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. That's what I'm going to be reviewing today. I believe this was published sometime at the beginning of 2019, perhaps. I'm not exactly sure. Seanan McGuire is really well known for her Wayward children's series that I have not read, so I can't tell you if they're good or not. I really like her books under her pen name, Mira Grant. She wrote Into the Drowning Deep, which was about killer mermaids. Really good book. She wrote this trilogy about zombies called Feed, and those were so entertaining. I highly recommend those. So Middlegame is one that I was really intrigued by because it's a sci-fi fantasy, and when I heard that she wrote something like that, I really needed to get my hands on this book. Plus the cover is just so intriguing. What is that? So I had to pick it up, and I got it at the beginning of this year, I think. So Middlegame is very confusing is very hard to describe because it's a weird book, and even after reading it, I don't fully understand what this book was about at its core. I mean, I do, but like the grand scheme of things is very confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it. So Middlegame follows two main characters, Roger and Dodger. Who names their kids Roger and Dodger? Anyway, we follow Roger and Dodger, and they are essentially twins. Like, not identical twins, but they're basically twins. And they were not birthed, they were created by this character named Reed. And Reed is an alchemist, and his goal overall is just to basically become this god-like character entity, and in doing so, the way he plans to do that is by unlocking all the secrets of the world and whatnot. His main plan to do so is through Roger and Dodger, because he creates them as two halves of a whole. One is basically, you have Roger, who is super intelligent and almost a genius in English and language, and then you have Dodger on the flip side, who is a genius in math. And when they were created, they were supposed to be separated for most of their lives up until a certain point, to when they kind of merge and create this giant power that Reed is able to use later on. So when they're younger, Roger and Dodger, being separated, living at different parts of the world, they, around 7-8 years old, start hearing each other in their head. They're able to communicate in like a telekinetic way, I guess you could say, and they're not supposed to do this, and no one really knows that they're talking to each other. Everyone thinks that they have imaginary friends, but they know that each other is real. So we kind of follow them as they make contact and they get to know each other as kids, and then things happen to where they are separated again and they are no longer in contact, and then we follow them again when they're teenagers. Some things happen, they talk to each other again, they're split again when they're in college. You know, the cycle continues, and it's a really interesting story. That's the gist of it, and I don't want to say anything more for, you know, to spoil you, but this was such an interesting story to follow because I feel as if there were two parts of the story. There's this big huge grand scheme of things where it's all about alchemy and power and people wanting to ascend to godhood, and that is never really fully described. You never really fully understand what's going on with that. It's very confusing, and you want to know more, and I think that's the plot side of me, wanting to have like a really well thought out described plot that I can fully understand, but you don't get that within this book. Instead, we're following this small story within this giant story, and the small story that we're following is Roger and Dodger as they live their lives day to day, as we follow them as they just try to navigate through the world. You know, they're very socially kind of awkward in a way, especially Dodger, the one who's really intelligent with math. She doesn't socialize very well, so we get to see her kind of just try to make friends and fail, and she's very quiet, and it's just a really sad story to follow. And then we have Roger, who is trying to navigate his life, trying to stay connected to Dodger, and it's just so kind of sad, because you know that these two are supposed to be together as brother and sister, but everything is keeping them apart, and it's this really small story that we're following within this grand story. And I think that's beautiful, because this is mainly about the characters as opposed to this giant story. And I really like that, because Seanan McGuire is so good at writing characters, at fleshing out well-rounded characters that you just grow to love and just enjoy so much. And I just adore Roger and Dodger so much as the cute little beans that I adore. And yes, I don't like their names, but I still adore them regardless. So that's Middlegame. It has its faults, but I think overall it is a really good read. And if you're more of a character-driven reader, this is the book for you. If you're more of a plot reader where you have to have something constantly happening for you to turn the page, maybe not for you. But regardless, I really liked it, and I really recommend it. So you should check it out if you get the chance. And yeah, that's Middlegame. If you read it, let me know what your thoughts are, because I really enjoyed it. And also, I loved a lot of the side characters within this book. A lot of them are really great, but I gotta go now, so that's my review of Middlegame. I'm gonna go because it's New Year's Eve, and I'm gonna go do some fun stuff because it's New Year's Eve. Have a great last day of the year to you guys, and I'll see you next year. So, bye.